Let's have a brief discussion of the Android file system. We need to do this before we get into coding because I want you to really understand the basics of the Android file system so that you've got a better understanding of what's happening behind the scenes, which makes understanding the databases a little bit easier. So firstly, remember that the Android operating system is based on Linux. That's right, essentially an Android device is really a Linux system, and the files that it needs to load and use, as well as apps that you load, are stored on the device. Now what I suggest you do, if you're interested in finding out more about that, look at the Android Core Concepts video in the last section of this course. There's more information about sort of how it works and things like permissions and so forth. We're just going to go into a little bit more detail now and discuss, really the application data space on the file system and how that works. Now Android give us a directory, you can see the directory on the screen there, /data/data. This is the base level that Android give all apps to be able to put their stuff, files that they want to record, databases, shared preferences, libraries, those types of things. So what happens is, and this is created automatically by Android, when you install an app, you will actually get a subfolder which is comprised of your package name. So I just want to go through and show you that. So a sample directory is, you can see if we had a project and in Eclipse or Android Studio I created the package name com.example.project1, then what would happen would be Android would create a folder in the /data/data folder called, with a subfolder com.example.project1. So that would be the sub-project name. So you can see that Android creates that for you, and you can put all your data in that folder and it doesn't conflict or override any data from any other app. For example, the shared preferences, which we talked about and used in the Flickr app, you would see now where that's stored in a subfolder called shared_prefs. Files that you want to use, you could put in the files subfolder or subdirectory, I should say. SQLite automatically puts databases in the /databases folder. So just to be clear, the database path example, for our application, if we had a package name of com.example.project1, the path would be /data/data/com.example.project1/databases. So that would be how you could refer to that. In actual fact, in the following videos, we're going to be doing just that. You'll see how that works. I'm going to show you this sort of command line, the behind the scenes view of how the data is stored. So Android, as I said, creates these folders automatically when you install the app, and when you create databases it puts them in the relevant spot, and likewise you're free to include files and put files in in the various folders. Okay, so that's the briefest of introductions to the file system, enough for you to get a basic bit of information so that the database concepts will make more sense. So now that you know more about SQLite data types, we've explored some SQL commands, we've created some basic directory, we've talked about some basic directory structures, and finally we've set up the path for your command line tools for your operating system. It's now time to get started. So in the next video, we're going to go through and fire up SQLite, we're going to create a database, and we're going to just try out some of the SQL tools so you can see how they work. So I'll see you in that video.